Hey, class of 2020.
Hey there, class of 2020.
Good morning, class of 2020.
Hello, class of 2020.
Okay, class of 2020, you made it. Congratulations.
Congratulations, class of 2020.
Just want to say congratulations, and we're so proud of you.
Wishing you guys all the best. Congratulations on graduation, and I hope we'll keep in touch.
You made it through. You did great. You're all amazing.
We're so looking forward to when we can celebrate you in person.
I know that these are difficult times, and you will not be able to celebrate this event in the way that you really deserve. But I wanted to tell you that I developed a real strong attachment to your class, although you had to suffer me. I hope that some of the things I taught you will be useful.
One of the reasons I love it here is because of you. I really feel privileged to be able to teach students like you, to be able to work with students who are as motivated and as dedicated as you are. You have truly made as much of an impact on my life as I hope we, the faculty, have made on yours.
I know that this is just an incredible group of young people. And I'm really excited to see the things that you'll accomplish. I know that you've worked so hard to get here. You've been through a lot. And there are a lot of really exciting things to look forward to. And what I wish for all of you is that you're able to find your niche such that you're doing something that you love and something that you find fulfilling, while also being able to contribute to the world. And all of you are going to be so important to our future, and I'm really excited to see what you do.
My wish for you is that you never stop learning, you never stop caring, and you never stop looking for ways to help other people. These are all things that it's easier to do when you're on a college campus where you have RSOs and departments who are helping you find those opportunities. But my wish for you is that you find ways to continue to do those three things even after you graduate.
Hi, class of 2020. I graduated from the University of Chicago in 1997, and what I would say I got there was an induction into humanistic intellectual culture. And that difference, that boundary between the world with intellectual culture in it and the world without it, just keeps growing as I get older. I mean, I'm not sure it looked this way to me at the time, but now when I look back on it, it's like the difference between a black and white world and one with color in it. And I think that's because not only did the U of C change me, but I reinforced that change and made it sharper through how I've lived. I hope that you keep sharpening that boundary for the rest of your lives.
In my tours of campus, I always insist that the reason UChicago feels like home is the people. And cliche, but true. And I would not be the same person I am today without my classmates, my coworkers, my friends, and my residents. And so as a final send-off, thank you so much, class of 2020. I'm super grateful that I was able to learn alongside you, and I know I will be learning from you for the rest of my life.
I've met so many amazing people, such as on the board of the Korean Student Organization and my sorority Alpha Omicron Pi, as well as a chamber orchestra here at the university. So thank you to all those people that have helped make my experience amazing, along with all of my wonderful friends and fellow peers of 2020.
A lot of the challenges we face today, they can be amorphous, they can be hard to pin down. But the people I've met at UChicago, you all, you're kind, you're smart, you're talented, and you're real. And over the last 4 years, I've gotten to meet you, I've gotten to learn from you, and I've gotten to make memories with you. So thank you for that. You've made a mark on me, and you're going to make a mark on the world. And that's what gives me hope for the future.
I wanted to take this opportunity to extend my congratulations to the University of Chicago class of 2020 and to officially welcome you as members of our alumni community.
Please know that our global alumni community welcomes you enthusiastically and celebrates your success as well.
I can't wait to see all the amazing things that you'll do in the future.
And here's to future travel, to visit each other and connecting with alumni across borders.
If you should find yourself in mid-Florida,
in India,
in Washington, D.C.,
in the greater Boston area,
we'd be happy to make you feel at home in our part of the world.
Wishing you the best of the class of 2020.
We're so excited to welcome you to the University of Chicago alumni community.
Hey, congratulations to all of you on graduating. Wherever you are right now, I hope you find a way to celebrate because you definitely earned it.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, class of 2020.
Congratulations.
Well, we wish you all the best and know that we're here to support you. So please stay in touch and congrats again.
Don't forget that wide-eyed curiosity and excitement you felt coming into the school.
I just wanted to wish you a very happy graduation.
Congratulations on this incredible accomplishment.
Congratulations, muchísimas felicidades, biots sorionak.
Cheers to the class of 2020.
I want to welcome you to a unique moment of celebration. This is a very different celebration than the one that we have all imagined since you joined this community 4 years ago. We have the distinction not of our choosing to gather in a moment that future generations will find intensely interesting, but they will also find it inspiring as they look at the heroic efforts that have brought us to this place. Your teachers and the college staff have worked tirelessly with grace and patience to protect our educational practices and values over the winter and spring terms, even with daily challenges and inconveniences. Let me also say, as a historian of the Habsburg Empire, that future generations will note the role that you, our students closest to the finish line, have played in maintaining our campus community. Earlier this spring, I wrote about the qualities that each of you, as scholars, brings to navigating difficult times, and about the courage that has always resided in the students of the University of Chicago. In the last months, we have seen these virtues as rarely before. The ability to look for deeper processes and questions at play within a barrage of daily reporting, to filter the noise of strident assertions from the signal of credible arguments, and to engage with the opinions of others while insisting on the rigorous interrogation of evidence and interpretations. None of these qualities have simply materialized in the spring quarter of 2020. They are rooted, rather, in the liberal arts culture that you have absorbed and circulated back through the university with your curiosity, independence of mind, and pursuit of knowledge. Just as you have shared these qualities with your faculty, teachers, and your fellow students, I know that they will offer you a deep well of confidence and resourcefulness in your future professional and personal lives. This is now your university as well as ours, and I'm convinced more than ever of your future success. You've shown grace and resilience in completing your studies, and you have summoned a level of creativity in supporting one another that expresses the very best of our student traditions. I'm thus delighted that you've joined us today for our celebration. Let us now begin the ceremonies of Class Day. Each year, students in the graduating class are invited to submit speeches summarizing their experiences in the college, while also providing advice to their fellow graduates. This year, Emily Stevens, Annie Geng, and Greer Baxter were selected by a panel of their peers to deliver the Class of 2020 student addresses. We begin today by hearing from Emily Stevens.
Thank you, Dean Boyer, for the warm introduction and for your leadership during these extraordinary times on behalf of the graduating class. I know I speak for many when I say we look forward to returning to celebrate in person next spring during Alumni Weekend 2021, for a memorable weekend marking this major milestone with our class and the alumni community. I'd expected to say, I will miss you dearly, and not, I miss you dearly, but here we are. It has been an extraordinary 4 years. I'm terribly tempted to quote the first line of A Tale of Two Cities. It was the best of times, it was the worst. But nearly every moment in history sees awful and wonderful running side by side. The world has become unanchored in a new way, but we know how to row in the doldrums and cut the sails in a storm. We couldn't have gotten here if we didn't. This class is an incredible group of people. I am honored and humbled to be among you. If you told me 5 years ago that my last quarter of the University of Chicago would be online, I would have said, there's no way I'm getting into the University of Chicago. As a group, you are cleverer, kinder, and wiser than I imagined. You have accomplished great things, often laughably astounding great things, the result of superhuman feats of will, and will continue to accomplish great things. And you have failed with grace and disgrace and fallen down and cried and gotten up again, or maybe just laid on the floor for a while. But we're here now, metaphorically, sorry, couldn't resist, on the brink of the future we're creating. And I think whether you know exactly where you're going or not at all, we deserve a moment to rest on our laurels and breathe. We've accomplished something substantial, and it will be recognized. I miss long walks in the bitter cold, and empty classrooms in Cobb, and the funky-smelling basement laundry room, and the dear old brutalist Regenstein. These things were taken away too soon, but what we have is each other, and what can never be taken away from us is ourselves, what we have learned and who we have become. I am in awe of how we have come together in this time of crisis. My time at this university has altered the trajectory of my life. I could not have accomplished half of what I have if not for opportunities granted me by recognized student organizations, and indeed unrecognized student organizations. Students make this place happen. Here's to you, resilient, vibrant, brilliant makers of things and ideas and art and discoveries. Here's to you who are doing so much that if you let your eyes unfocus from what's immediately in front of you, you would be overwhelmed. Here's to you whose free time and study time is completely unstructured. I read on an internet forum that you're probably geniuses. You are bright burning stars. This is an insubstantial phantom of the long goodbye we deserve. I hope my admiration is as palpable as any admiration offered in the open air. To the class of 2020, until we meet again. Our next student speaker is Annie Geng, a philosophy major from New York.
Thank you, Emily. 4 years ago, I walked through UChicago for the first time. I was 17, just recently admitted to UChicago. I stood before Harper, not yet aware of its name, but its size. My heart sank. These buildings felt bigger than I would ever know, and they still do. They tell you college should feel like home. Well, UChicago was certainly a very different place to call home. It was a home I had to apply to, one that considered me and said, by some work of miracle, yes, just as it had to nearly 2,000 others from all corners of the world. Should a home tell you how to live in it? If so, UChicago did. I'd only just learned my way to the library when I realized that UChicago pointed us in more directions than I'd ever known. Directions that demand us to deconstruct what we believe we know, that ask us to challenge the reality that we live in. The class of 2020 feels the import of reality now more than ever. We worked so hard, only for our most precious moments of college to be seized by something far greater than us, something global, something that has rendered our future most uncertain. Nothing we could have learned in class could have readied us for the process of adjusting our realities to the impossible. Nothing could have prepared us for every standard of value we know to be subverted in the face of human fragility. And with all that's happening in our present moment, there are only so many things I can focus on in this speech. But what I want to focus on first is the story of my parents. When my parents were my age, they were finishing college in China, the only country they'd ever known. A few years later, they would uproot everything they knew to move here, all for the possibility, even if slight, that their daughter might have a better future. I highlight my parents because I believe they embody love. They embody the sort of enduring, unwavering faith you have for those you love, the sort of relentless belief that by some work of miracle survives every single doubt. Homes, much like the one my parents forged for me, are built with love. And to give with earnest love to what you care about can often be the deepest, most painful renunciation of strength and will. And to build a home is one of the greatest acts of love. It requires uncertainty. It demands sacrifice. It is, in a word, difficult. Somewhere along these 4 years, I began calling Hyde Park my home. And as we leave our campus behind, know that it is from having braved the uneasy, braved the difficult, that we were able to make this place our home. And as we delve into the unknown, remember that so many believe in you, more than just your parents, your friends, your professors, dining hall workers, security guards, strangers. It is upon the shoulders of their willful kindness and generosity that you are here today, a graduate of the class of 2020. There is so much grief, injustice, and misery in our world right now. All these things are crippling and demoralizing, but it is far too soon to give up. The fight to make the world a better place continues with you. The world needs you, now more than ever, to believe in it and to move with courage and hope. It needs your love. Being a young adult often means unlearning the ways you've understood the world while growing up, growing into, with trial and error, your own values. Having what others may consider lofty idealism clash and at times fall flat against the face of a world that may not always serve you, that can even, at times, work against you. But I urge you to maintain that idealism for as long as you live, because that sort of idealism moves the world. In the most uncertain, most unbelievable times, we all need something to believe in. And if you don't believe in anything, then you stand for nothing. Remember the way you first learned to endure and then love UChicago, the sort of unwavering resilience you've held for this home. Know that it is from having made UChicago ours that we now know how to make the world ours. And know too that UChicago, with its all too brutalist architecture and primal screams, will always be your home. But now it's time to make the world your home. Remember that wherever you'll be, the world is yours now, and it's ready for you to make it what you want it to look like. The world needs you, and it's your turn to change it. Thank you so much. Finally, we have Greer Baxter, a creative writing major, also from New York.
Thank you, Annie. Congratulations to the class of 2020, and a big thank you to family, faculty, and community members here who supported and encouraged us to always strive to be our best selves. You are part of what allowed us to thrive here, so today we celebrate you as well. We are grateful, even though we might not have always been clear about that. Emily Dickinson wrote, "We never know how high we are till we are called to rise, and then, if we are true to plan, our statures touch the skies." This sums up the UChicago experience. We rose up to meet its challenges, and now, as graduates, we will rise up to meet the new ones ahead. It's a privilege to be able to attend any college, but here at UChicago, I have been so humbled by the intellects around me, and I'm a better person for having gotten to know so many of you. I remember the fall of 2016, the sound of bagpipes as we walked through the quad and Hull Gate, saying goodbye to my parents who were being handed tissues for their tears in front of Rockefeller Chapel. I remember being told not to step on the seal in Reynolds Club and accidentally stepping on the seal in Reynolds Club. Rituals uniquely UChicago, and there are many. Here I've heard discourse among students in the library that would make Foucault and Wittgenstein proud. The passion was contagious, even if it hurt my head sometimes. But mostly it made me think and rethink. So what is a UChicago class of 2020 student? We are primal screams and picnics at the point and frisbee on the quad, late nights in the reg and early morning cuvia. We are debaters, artists, athletes, performers, problem solvers, entrepreneurs. We love to eat a fourth meal and make a late night Herald's run. We are poets, advocates, and innovators. We stand strong for what we believe and we raise our voices for those who have none. We agree and we disagree, and we follow rules but know when they're meant to be broken. If we fail and fall, we try to pick ourselves up. UChicago students have the courage to be themselves because we are amazing human beings in the making, and this university and the people we have been surrounded by here helped form who we are. And now we are ready to go. I don't know if we will ever really feel ready, but we are brave because we take on the unknown, making us vulnerable, but also strong. This University of Chicago gave us the lessons and the tools to take this next big leap. Here we were given the freedom and the confidence to bring our own meaning to life with a sense of conviction that will set us apart. Whether we know it or not, we are ready. This, right now, is our time, and it's incumbent on us to take on the world, fight for it, better it. We draw deliberate lines and go at our own speed and find our own individual paths, and it starts today. So let's make some noise. Let's dream and disrupt. Like our phoenix, we are rising. As Joseph Campbell said, follow your bliss and don't be afraid, and doors will open where you didn't know they were going to be. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasures you seek. See you in that cave. Congratulations, class of 2020. Now I have the honor of introducing this year's distinguished Class Day keynote speaker, Dr. Otis W. Brawley. Dr. Brawley currently serves as the Bloomberg Distinguished Professor of Oncology and Epidemiology at Johns Hopkins University. Previously, he held the position of Chief Medical and Scientific Officer of the American Cancer Society, where he oversaw the largest private program funding cancer research in the United States. In 2019, Dr. Brawley was awarded the University of Chicago Alumni Professional Achievement Award for outstanding accomplishments in his field, and all of us in the college are very grateful that he has agreed to come share some of his wisdom with us today. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Otis W. Brawley.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. I want to acknowledge the Maroon Key Society. I want to thank you for the work that you do to set up Class Day, and I want to acknowledge the exceptionally difficult issues this year with the sudden changes to graduation. I want to thank Dean Boyer and Dean Ellison for inviting me to speak today. It's a true honor to be asked to give the College Day address some 39 years after my graduation. My congratulations to the class of 2020. Graduation affirms your hard work of the past 4 years, your hard work perseverance, and commitment to rigorous inquiry have paid off. You will receive a degree that no one can ever take away from you. My congratulations to your families and those who supported you. As the parent of a recent graduate myself, I know that a graduation is in some ways about you. Now, these are truly unprecedented times. My apologies that you could not have a traditional graduation. I hope we can all gather in the future and celebrate. When I was asked to give this talk, I asked my daughters, one a University of Chicago graduate, the other currently an undergrad, what do class day speakers talk about? They said wisdom. I did the Chicago thing. I went to the Oxford English Dictionary and looked up the word wisdom. It says lessons learned from past experiences and insight. So if you indulge me, let me talk about some lessons learned. The importance of mentorship, the importance of positive influencers, the importance of a broad liberal arts education, and what you owe for the privilege of that education. Now, I entered the college 43 years ago. Yes, I went to Chicago a long time ago. My experience was perhaps a bit different from yours. I sense it wasn't quite so hard to get into the college then, and we didn't have to write creative essays. We called it U of C, or Chicago, instead of UChicago. It was a time before cell phones and personal computers. We all owned typewriters. Students were very studious. We spent all our time in the Rag or Harper Library. Back in my day, students seldom left Hyde Park. We took very seriously the motto, where fun goes to die. And unlike you, I actually got to go to my graduation in person. There were some real memories. I'm sure you'll have some good memories too. The University of Chicago was a place where Greer Baxter and George Stigler taught Intro to Economics to me, a chemistry major. Both would, of course, go on to win Nobel Prizes despite me. It was a place for tremendous discourse. Indeed, George Stigler would become a good friend. We talked regularly for years after I left the college. To this day, I cherish memories of our discussions about problems in the auto industry and especially the Chrysler bailout. Let's talk about the importance of mentorship. I grew up in a blue-collar neighborhood in Detroit. I was fortunate enough to attend a private Jesuit high school. I still remember Father Polakowski, a Jesuit teacher, 10th grade English teacher, when he told me that I should go to Chicago. It was branded Chicago back then. It became UChicago a few years later. I applied, I got in, I decided to go because of his encouragement, the history of academics, and I was impressed by some amazing buildings. When I got there, I was a nerd, very much like most of my classmates. Unlike most of my classmates, I was Black. I was very much accepted into the community. I developed friendships that have lasted for 40 years. Lesson, the importance of friendships. Friends can be mentors, they can be positive influencers. Now, our first mentors are our parents. They teach us right and wrong. Along the way, they hone our ethics and morals. Along the way, we develop other mentors and influencers. They expand them, aunts, uncles, teachers. At Chicago, many of my classmates, resident heads, and the resident dean became mentors and influencers. I learned a great deal from this community. I learned to value its tradition of curiosity, its love of intellectual rigor, its love of intellectual rigor. We learned not what to think, but how to think. We learned the importance of being well-rounded. When I was an undergrad, we discussed science, we discussed politics, we discussed humanities. We were broad and well-rounded. I'll always be grateful for the friendships created there, for the rigor that I was taught. We were all there because we weren't comfortable being ignorant. We wanted to learn. What I remember too is a number of people who were influencers, who were mentors. Ruth Hamilton worked the front desk at Burton Jetson. She was a mother figure to all of us. Looking back, we learned a great deal from Ruth. She could have been faculty. She opened my mind and the mind of many a student to world issues. At Chicago, I really learned the importance of mentorship and the positive influence of others. I had seen it in high school, but I came to appreciate it in college. A number of faculty members would be mentors. One would convince me to go to medical school. And later in medical school, later as a resident, as a young physician scientist, as an administrator, and even as a tenured professor, I have learned a lot, not just from doctors, but from nurses, from respiratory therapists, from lab techs, ward clerks, even hospital janitors. Lesson: education is a privilege, and with that privilege comes responsibility. As you go forth, mentor others. It's your payback. Be a positive influence to others. Remember, the greatest honor one human can give another is to say, "Can you help me?" Be open to mentoring others who ask for help. Consider being asked an honor. With the privilege of education, you also get choices about your life. Find something that's fulfilling. Do something that makes you feel good about what you do. Remember, learning should continue. Learning is lifelong. Don't grow stale. Do not isolate yourself. Learn things you can't learn in the hallowed halls of academia. With your education is the responsibility to try to make the world a little better. Your grades, your income, they don't determine your ability to change the world. Use your ability to think, your ability to analyze, your ability to solve problems. That's what allows you to change the world. It's obvious that my generation has left much to do. My generation has not been able to change the narrative nearly enough. Try to create a new kind of world. Affirm the value of every human being. Have empathy and respect for others. Have intolerance only of intolerance. Remember ethics. Remember right and wrong. At times, you may have to do things that are inconvenient, things that are uncomfortable, because they're the right thing to do. In my own work, I work in health disparities. We spend a lot of time explaining and talking. Our goal is to save lives, to prevent needless suffering. It's all about social justice. It's science, but it's also about social justice and humanities. We have to be well-rounded. We deal with the medical sciences, the social sciences, and the humanities. Today, I can tell you that physicians and scientists have to be able to write. They must be able to communicate well. Their work in life is bettered by appreciating the beauties and humanities. Their work is more profound by appreciating the social sciences. Their work is well-rounded, meaning they have the ability to be introspective, contemplative. It's appreciating the importance of ethics and morality. Today, even in medicine, we have to deal with America's politics of fear and anger. The politics of fear and anger promote tolerance of injustice, tolerance of inequality, and tolerance of oppression. We in medicine work to change the narrative by communicating clearly the importance of empathy, the importance of fact and how to assess fact, the importance of science, of scientific rigor, and the value of the scientific method. I'm often guided by the Jesuit dictum: one should be contemplative. One should always label things what you know, what you don't know, and what you believe. One should question everything, but one should question what you know more than anything else. Let me give you an example of some of the work that I do. My research group recently quantified health disparities in the United States as it relates to cancer. Approximately 600,000 Americans died of cancer last year. We showed that 132,000 of those deaths were preventable if all Americans had had appropriate health care to include preventative care. That's the care any human being should get. Now, 132,000, that's greater than the number of lives that could be saved by any new cancer treatment that research could give us. Perhaps only the smallpox vaccine has saved so many lives. And in the future, perhaps a coronavirus vaccine could save that many lives. 132,000 Americans died because this, the wealthiest country in the world, was unable to provide them with health care. This is an ethical imperative. This is an ethical imperative to American society. It truly is an ethical imperative to American society. By the way, the majority of those 132,000 Americans are white, and the majority live in the Deep South. To sum up, you have a University of Chicago education. Luigi Zengalis, the Robert C. McCormick Distinguished Service Professor of Entrepreneurship and Finance at the university, has appropriately described it as a method, not an ideology. It's a method of intellectual inquiry without the blinders imposed by conventional wisdom. It's a method based on the courage to carry basic principles to their logical conclusion, even when these conclusions are not popular. It's a method based on constant attention to empirical evidence. Your University of Chicago education is a privilege. I challenge you to take that privilege, have confidence in your abilities, have high expectations, and take that method into the world. Don't become indifferent, stay hopeful. Hope is a superpower. Do some things that are inconvenient and uncomfortable. What a University of Chicago education means is no matter what your field of study, be it humanities, basic science, biological science, or computer science, you can think critically, you can express yourself efficiently. Don't isolate yourself in an ivory tower, have empathy for others. Touch people who are in need, embrace others and help them. The importance of mentorship is it can spread your effect. Change just a little part of the world for the better. The privilege of an education is you have choices. I congratulate you, the class of 2020, your families and loved ones. And in the words of social commentator and movie producer Spike Lee, go do the right thing. Now stay safe, enjoy yourselves, and celebrate yourselves. Thank you.
Greetings, students, families, and friends of the class of 2020. I am Jay Ellison, Dean of Students in the college. Class Day is an event designed to celebrate you, our students. Class Day honors your successes, bringing you and your families together for a celebration of your accomplishments, your class, your peers, and you. This is our fourth Class Day, though it is also the first of its kind as a virtual event. I would like to thank Dr. Brawley for his comments. Dr. Brawley is an alum of the college and of the Pritzker School of Medicine. He also has been a tremendous friend of the college over the years. His comments today continue a dedication that many alumni share, which is to inspire future generations of UChicago students to value their education from our great institution and pursue the scholarly leadership it empowers them to contribute to the world. I hope that you too will be committed to encouraging your peers and those who come after you. I also thank Emily, Annie, and Greer for sharing their unique perspectives on what their time at UChicago has meant to them. We are proud of your accomplishments and intellect, and we look forward to seeing all that you achieve in the bright futures that we know await you. I hope you will also join me in sharing appreciation for the many students, faculty, and staff who have worked so hard to plan and execute this ceremony. To you, our newest alumni of the college, I express my sincere hope that you will remain connected and engaged with the college, whether your plans include Hyde Park, a return to your hometown, or venturing off to a new city. You are never too far away from the University of Chicago. You join a network of alumni that is 180,000 strong. I hope to see you continue to enjoy being part of this distinguished community of scholars throughout your life. Independently, there are many ways to stay close to the university after graduation. Regional alumni clubs in cities around the globe, intellectual engagement events such as the faculty-led Harper Lectures, volunteer-led happy hours and book clubs, even signature career development programs created just for young alumni. No matter your interest, there are many ways to stay involved. UChicago alum are everywhere and excited to welcome you to the community. And when you're feeling nostalgic for the quads, I hope you'll come back to campus. In fact, the homecoming block party in the fall of this year and our annual alumni weekend celebration in the spring of 2021, which will be your first reunion, are sure to be epic. We never envisioned a graduation apart, and we will celebrate grandly when we are permitted to safely be in each other's company. My sincerest congratulations to you and your families on this momentous occasion of your graduation. On behalf of the entire Dean of Students office in the college, I wish you much success and enjoyment in the years ahead. At this time, it is my distinct honor to recognize the winner of this year's Howell Murray Alumni Association Awards. The Howell Murray Award is one of the college's highest honors, recognizing graduating students who have made outstanding contributions to the university through co-curricular activities. The students selected as this year's Howell Murray Award winners have been recognized by their peers and others on campus for extraordinary service to the college community. They have demonstrated a commitment to make your and their experience the best it can be. This is the 59th year that the university has presented the Howell Murray Alumni Association Awards. This year's awards recipients are Layla All, Kayla Allen, Gabriel Barron, Janae Brown, Miranda Burt, Leonardo Giotto, Tiffany Kim, Ridgely Knapp, Lene Lundstrom, Vanessa Ma, Madison Pearson, Christian Porras, Rima Salah, Hannah Watkin, Vicky Shea, Ekin Zorash. Congratulations to each of our award winners for their achievements, and thank you for your positive impact on our college community. And again, congratulations to all of you. We hope to see you again soon. Now it is my pleasure to welcome back the Dean of the College, John W. Boyer.
3 years and 9 months ago, I had the pleasure to address you in Rockefeller Chapel on opening day. It is thus a special privilege now to speak at the close of your studentship at the university. The Roman orator and statesman and distinguished humanist Cicero observed in his essay De Legibus that he had two patriae, two fatherlands, one by nature, the second by citizenship. The first was his homeland, a small city called Arpinum, 60 miles outside of Rome. The second was the Roman Republic itself, of which Cicero was a proud citizen. For Cicero, the latter stood first in his affection, not only because its citizenship was highly coveted and privileged, but because it represented universal values that he deeply esteemed. From across America and the world, you came here to Chicago to become citizens of this great university. You remained loyal and engaged citizens of your hometowns and your neighborhoods, but in coming here, you too, like Cicero, became citizens of a second fatherland, a second patria, a university that has always had a noble and universal mission in American higher education. In graduating tomorrow, you will have joined for the rest of your lives a community that many consider the ideal university, a place of integrity and authority and efficacious intellectual power used to encourage the development of the creative will. Down through the decades of our history comes a cascade of respect for the educational work of your university, for the good that it has done, for the creativity that it has nurtured, and for the self-confidence and talent that it has sponsored in its students, and for the standards of excellence that it has demanded of all of us. The grandeur of our community, that which shines forth to each person who visits us even for a short time, and that which graces each of us who have had the high privilege of joining this community as permanent members, is that it is a courageous place and a fearless place, a place of strong liberty and vibrant convictions. And out of all those convictions, and out of all the generations of free and open debate that they have sponsored and protected, has arisen an institution truly worthy of the meaning and the promise of the higher learning. Very few institutions in our society have had such power to enrich and to transform human life. You came to Chicago with immense zeal and immense hopes, and you have worked mightily to be worthy of this great university and the special honor that attaches to anyone who passes through it. We cannot know the particulars of what lies ahead in each of your lives, but we do know that you are strong and perceptive, and you have the energy and grace to begin to master the world, and that you will succeed and flourish and begin to make significant contributions to all of your communities, to all of your patriae. It was a privilege to have you as our students. It is an even greater honor to have you as our alumni. I hope you will help us make the college an even more vibrant place for the students that come after you, and I also hope you will remember the extraordinary impact that is made on each of your lives. And so I say to you in your new role as alumni, as I said in that chapel on that wonderful September afternoon, now almost 4 years ago, welcome to a most distinctive university. Welcome to a university that stands as a model for all the universities. Welcome to the University of Chicago. May you encounter great and good fortune in the fascinating journeys ahead, and Godspeed to all of you.
Thank you.